Welcome to video podcast number 30, part 2 of 2. The first roughly 10 minutes of this part 2 will be available on YouTube as kind of a preview. But in order to view the remainder of part 2 of video podcast number 30, you will have to be at least a $5 patreon.com subscriber. You will have to be at least a $5 Patreon subscriber. And I appreciate all my Patreon subscribers and financial supporters. My ebooks are available on Amazon.com as well as directapproachdating.com/books. My paperbacks, same two websites, Amazon.com and directapproachdating.com/books. My audiobooks are available on audible.com, audible.com. That's the audiobook division of Amazon.com. And you can also find more information about my audiobooks on my main website, which is Direct Approach Dating, all is one word, directapproachdating.com. I'll have all the links in either the description section below, or the comment section. I'm thirsty in the mug, so I've already drank about 2/3 of this bottle. This is my second favorite flavor. It's called lemon squeezed. Lemon squeeze is my second favorite flavor. And man, I was thirsty today, so yeah, 2/3 of this is already gone. I want to start off talking to my most loyal and enthusiastic fans, followers, financial supporters, and Patreon subscribers, readers of my ebooks and paperbacks, listeners of my audiobooks, and clients, current and former clients. Now, I know you've been listening to a lot of video podcasts where I had somewhat of a harsh tone to my voice. And if not a harsh tone, maybe I was doing a lot of egotistical trash talking. I think this goes without saying, but that's not directed at you. I think you know that. For my fans, followers, financial supporters, current and former clients, love you guys. I'm here for you. I'm always willing to provide you with a great deal of knowledge, wisdom, insight, in general dating and relationships advice. So rarely, if ever, are my rants, my harsh rambles, my admonishments directed at you, because you are the guys who keep me going, who keep my motivation up, and I got nothing but love and respect for you. But, you know, anytime you're in the public eye and you got at least some degree of popularity, you're going to have haters, you're going to have critics, you're going to have doubters, and you're going to have people who try to just, if nothing else, distort your message. And so when I do the videos where I'm talking a lot of shit and I'm laying guys out, that's who that's directed towards. My haters, my doubters, my critics, and those who intentionally or unintentionally distort my Mo 1 message. So again, that's not directed at you guys. What I'm going to talk about in part 2, among other things, is the concept of being nice, or even more so, too nice. Here's kind of my formula for that. If you're too flattering, too quickly, too lenient, too consistently, and too accommodating excessively, then that means you're too nice. You're too nice. And a lot of you guys, because of your social programming, your brainwashing by maybe your mother, your aunts, your sisters, some factions of society in general, will have you believing that the ideal way to go is to always present yourself as a very likable guy, a very pleasant and polite guy, a very easy to get along with guy, a guy who says all the nicest of well-mannered comments. And the good news is a lot of women will tilt their head, bat their eyes a little bit, and say, Brian, you're so sweet. You're such a sweetheart. You're such a nice guy. But guess what that means when that woman tilts her head and speaks in that light voice, complimenting you on how nice and sweet you are? That means that 9 times out of 10, you ain't going to get your dick sucked. And you ain't going to get no pussy. And if in the maybe 5 to 10% chance that you're lucky enough to share a bed with that woman, it's only going to be within the context of marriage or within the context of a long-term boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. As far as any type of short-term and or non-monogamous casual sex, it ain't going to happen for you. Now, some of you guys, that might not be your objective. You might not be interested in either short-term sex and or non-monogamous sex. Your specific objective might be to find your wife and find your next long-term girlfriend. And I'm not hating on you for that. If that's your objective, more power to you. The only thing I would say, I don't know if I'm the most ideal dating coach for you to follow, if that is your only objective, is to find your future wife or your next long-term. I wouldn't say I exclude that from my dating coaching, but that's definitely not a emphasized area of mine. Because the truth of the matter is, as far as being the proverbial nice guy, you can be a nice guy and find your wife. Women are looking for nice guys to marry because they know you're going to be easy to get along with. They know you're going to be generally financially generous with them. And for the most part, they know they're going to be able to easily influence your behavior and manipulate your behavior to their liking. So if you want to be Joe Nice Guy, there's at least minimum of 40 to 50% chance you'll find your wife and you'll find you a long-term girlfriend. Because women are always in the market for the proverbial nice guy who's usually a beta male, what I refer to as a beta male. And I already pretty much defined it. You know, anytime you're a man whose behavior is very easy to influence, easy for women to influence, easy for women to control, in some cases easy for you to be dominated by a woman, easy for you to be manipulated by a woman, it means you're beta male. It means you're beta male. Is that totally a bad thing? Again, it depends on what your objectives are. I would argue that for marriage and long-term relationships, not necessarily. Not necessarily. You know, it just depends on what you're looking for from a relationship. Now, I can tell you with full conviction, if you're looking for short-term and or non-monogamous sex from a woman, and you're a beta male, your chances are between slim and none of getting a woman in bed, unless you're tricking. Unless you're tricking. That's your only option to get casual sex like non-relationship sex from a woman, if you're a beta male, is if you're tricking. For those not familiar with that term, tricking means anytime you are offering women financial assistance, financial compensation, financial favors, financial support in exchange for their sexual companionship. The most common example would be paying money for a street prostitute, paying money for a professional call girl, paying money for an upscale erotic escort, being a sugar daddy and having a sugar baby, and any variation of those things. That's tricking. That's not being a ladies' man. That's not being a player or a womanizer. That's being a trick. There's a lot of beta males who are financially generous tricks. So if you want to go that route, you can. Now, when it comes to prostitutes, of course, that's illegal in every state in the United States except for many counties in Las Vegas. But, guys know how to circumvent that. And these days, a lot of dating is an indirect form of prostitution. Let's just be real. Like if a woman demands that you take her on 3, 4, 5 dates to a 5-star restaurant before she'll have sex with you, she's essentially a variation of a call girl. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. So, there are ways for beta males to be successful in long-term relationships. And again, if you're financially generous, there's ways for beta males to be successful for casual sex. But if you want to be successful with casual sex in the area of short-term and or non-monogamous casual sex without spending a significant amount of money on a woman, then you need to listen to the remainder of this part 2 of video podcast 30. And here ends the preview portion of part 2 of video podcast 30. Mode 1. Your hashtag for those just watching the preview is I want to see more. I want to see more. That's your hashtag for those viewing just the preview. Now, if you're watching this video podcast on Patreon, then of course you don't need to post that hashtag because you're going to see the remainder. Okay. Now I will say at this point, welcome to part 2 of video podcast number 30 for my $5 or more subscribers to my Patreon page. Yeah. What we're going to be talking about in this video podcast is why it's important to leave a woman with an indelible impression. An indelible impression. Now, some of you young guys might have to look at a dictionary and say, what does indelible mean? Indelible means a profound, memorable impression. Because there's a lot of situations where, as a single heterosexual male, you might meet a woman at a bar, a restaurant, a nightclub, some other social setting. You might have a 5-minute conversation with her, 10-minute conversation with her, 15-minute conversation with her, longer. And that conversation could proceed in a very pleasant manner. Conversation could end up being very flattering and entertaining because of you. You could have the woman smiling a lot. You can have the woman giggling at your jokes, even if they're corny. But the reality is, there's a lot of conversations that take place between men and women where within a half hour after that conversation has ended, within an hour after that conversation has ended, within 3 hours after that conversation has ended, within 6 hours, and so on and so on, that woman has already forgotten about you. She's forgotten your first name. She's forgotten your last name. Why? Because you were too basic. You were too conventional. Your manner of speech was at best cautious, at worst horribly non-confident and even nervous. So you need to ask yourself, why is that the case? Why are you, as a man who is a single heterosexual man, why are you so nervous in the company of women? Why do you severely lack confidence when you talk to women? What are your fears? What are your insecurities? What are you worried about when you're in conversation with a woman? That's what you got to ask yourself. You know, I did a video podcast recently. I think it was video podcast number 28, I want to say. Questions, and even more questions. That was all about self-examination. I like to propose questions that invoke an episode of self-examination so you can identify what are some of your strongest fears. What are some of your most profound egotistical insecurities? Because all of that is going to negatively affect your degree of eye contact with a woman. It's going to negatively affect your demeanor and your overall body language. It's going to negatively affect your manner of speech and your verbal communication skills. And women pick up on all those things. They pick up on all those things. They pick up on the way you use your eyes. They pick up on the way you use your voice. They pick up on the way you converse with them. They pick up on your body language, even your subtle body language signals, your overall demeanor. They pick up on those things. They can size you up fairly quickly if you're an alpha male type or beta male type. And if they aren't sure, what they'll engage in is what's known as ball busting. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of that term, ball busting. Ball busting is a way of a woman, that usually happens when a woman is talking to a guy, she's not quite sure if you're an alpha male or a beta male. If she knows for a fact that you are a beta male, or she knows for a fact you are an alpha male, 99.9% chance she's not going to bust your balls. But if she's not sure, she's going to bust your balls. What does busting your balls entail? Busting your balls entails her throwing out some lighthearted criticisms your way, some lighthearted personal jabs your way, purposely behaving in a manner that's very sassy, smart alecky, defiant. She wants to know if you can handle her womanhood. Can you handle her? If you give off the impression that you can't, she knows you're beta. She knows she can dominate you. She knows she can control you. And consequently, there's going to be no curiosity or intrigue on her part to want to engage in sex with you, and more specifically, short-term and or non-monogamous casual sex. So you got to make sure. I always say to all my male clients, the first 3 to 5 minutes of your very first conversation with a woman means everything. Of all the times you will talk to a woman, to me, arguably the most important portion of any conversation you have with a woman is going to be the first 3 to 5 minutes of your very first conversation with a woman. That's when a woman's going to decide whether you're a potential sexual companion for her. And then from there, she's going to decide whether you're a potential long-term or short-term sexual lover, or and also a potential monogamous versus non-monogamous sexual companion. She determines that all within that first 5 minutes of your first conversation with her. I would say if I wanted to be generous, I'll extend that to the first 15 minutes. Assuming she allows you to proceed past the 5-minute mark. Yeah, that's the first conversation is always the most important, man. That's when you make your impression on a woman. What kind of impression are you making on women right now? Ask yourself that question. What kind of impression are you making on women? I want you to marinate on that for a few seconds. What kind of impression are you making on women when you first approach them? I knew I should have had 2 bottles next to me. Wow. All right. I hope I make it through the rest of this podcast. Man, I get thirsty. What is confidence? You hear that term thrown around a lot. I think I defined it in at least 1, if not 2, of my previous video podcasts. To be confident means, number 1, you're motivated to take action. That's the number 1 thing that it means to be confident. You're motivated to take action. When you're unmotivated to take action towards the achievement of a goal or the accomplishment of an objective, that means you lack confidence. Anytime you're hesitant or flat out scared to take action, that means you lack confidence. Confidence, number 1, means you're highly motivated to take action towards, achieving some type of goal, accomplishing some type of objective, that sort of thing. So that's the number 1 component to confidence, is your ability or lack thereof to take action. Second component of confidence is once you take action, what type of reactions, responses, and results do you expect, even if they don't happen? For example, there are a lot of baseball players who might walk up to the plate expecting to hit a home run, if not a home run, a triple, if not a triple, a double, if not a double, a single. That's what they expect. Now, that might not happen. They very well might strike out. But that's their expectation, though, is to hit a home run, hit a triple, hit a double, or hit a single. And that's what it means to be confident. Next to being highly motivated to take action, secondly, it means that when you approach a woman, you're expecting a positive, desirable, and reciprocal reaction, even if in reality you don't end up getting that reaction or response or result. But that's what you expect. So if you expect when you approach a woman that you're going to get a positive reaction, response, a very desirable reaction and response, and a reciprocal reaction, response, and results, that means you have confident expectations. Confident expectations. So I'm asking you, when you approach women, do you approach a woman with the confident expectation that things are going to go well in that conversation? Let's say this. Let's say I put you in a room with 10 women. And let's say I knew that it was predetermined that 4 of those 10 women were potentially interested in having sex with you in some type of context. Let's say there was at least 1 woman in that room that was interested in long-term monogamous sex with you. There was at least 1 woman in the room that was interested in long-term non-monogamous sex with you. There was at least 1 woman that was interested in short-term monogamous sex with you. And at least 1 woman who was interested in short-term non-monogamous sex with you. Okay? So that would cover 4 of the 10 women. The other 6 women, they're just not interested in you beyond a purely platonic friendship. And I would say of those 6 women that are only interested in purely platonic friendship, 3 of the 6 women have no problem straightforwardly telling you that. And the other 3 women, they want to engage in at least a 20 to 30 minute conversation with you before they let you know that they're just interested in being platonic friends with you. So let's say I put you in that room. Now I know the data on these women, and I know what their interest or lack thereof is, but you don't. I don't share that with you. I just say, I want you to go in this room with these 10 women and see what happens. And let's say the very first woman you talk to says, no, you're not my type and I'm not interested in sharing your company in any type of romantic or sexual manner. Would you turn around and leave that room based on that rejection? Would you? Would you turn around and leave that room based on that one rejection you got from the very first woman you approached? If you would, that means that would represent that you lack confidence. Because based on just that one rejection, in your mind, you believe that's how all the other conversations with the remaining 9 women in that room, they're going to go that route. So you say, fuck this. I'm not going to put my ego through this. I'm not going to put myself through this. I'm throwing in the towel right now. This woman rejected me within the first 2 minutes of the conversation. I'm done. I'm out of here. And that's what a lot of men do in real life. After a handful of rejections, they just give up. I've talked to men like that. They got just a handful of rejections and they just immediately gave up. Don't give up that quick. Don't give up that quick. Let me ask you this question. I think I've asked this question before on a video podcast. But if I did, I'm going to ask it again. Why aren't you preparing for your funeral tomorrow? I want you to marinate on that question. Why aren't you preparing for your funeral tomorrow? Why? What's today? Today is Wednesday, July 26th. I don't know, by the time you're seeing this video, it's probably going to be Thursday, July 27th. I'm asking you, why are you not preparing for your funeral? Why are you not preparing for your funeral? Okay, if I don't want to be that extreme, if you have a 9-to-5 job, why aren't you preparing for being fired on Thursday or Friday? Why aren't you preparing for being fired on Thursday or Friday? Why not? Could it be that you're not preparing for your funeral because you're confident that you are going to remain alive past Thursday, past Friday, past Saturday, past Sunday, and for days to come? Is that what that means? You're very confident that you're going to remain alive as a human being? What proof do you have? What proof do you have that you're going to be alive past Thursday or Friday? Show me some proof. What proof do you have that you're going to be alive past Thursday or Friday? Excuse me. Burp number 1. Show me some proof. Who is giving you documented proof that you are going to be alive past Thursday or Friday? I want to know. I want to know, you arrogantly confident motherfucker. I want to know. Because if you're not assuming that you're going to be dead on Thursday or Friday, that means you kind of cocky. You kind of arrogant. You might not look at yourself that way, but I'm saying you're kind of cocky. You very much confidently believe that you're going to be afforded to live past Thursday, past Friday, and past Saturday and Sunday. How dare you? You cocky, full of yourself person. How dare you believe you're going to be alive? How dare, who gave you that type of confidence to believe you're going to be alive next week? Who gave you that confidence to believe you're going to have your job next week or 2 weeks from now? And that you don't have to go right now and start looking for another job? Who gave you that confidence that you're going to keep your job? Why do you have such confidence? Why do you have such confidence that you're going to be alive for the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and beyond? What gives you the type of confidence that you're going to have your job, your current 9-to-5 job, for another week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks? I want to know. Show me some evidence. Show me some proof. Why are you so fucking confident? Why? Why are you confident you're going to be able to eat tomorrow? Or 2 days from now, 3 days from now? Why are you confident? Why are you, if you live in America, why are you confident that Russia is not just going to come into our country next week or 2 weeks from now and just blow up the USA? What gives you that confidence? Give me the proof of this confidence you have that Russia or some other country not just going to invade the United States and just blow us the fuck up. I want to know what your proof is. What makes you so confident? And I'm asking you, if you're so confident that you're going to be alive for the next few weeks, next few months, even next few years, and you're confident that you're going to be able to maintain your current job for the next few days, next few weeks, next few months, and beyond, how come you don't transfer that confidence to dealing with women? That's what I want to know. How come you don't transfer that confidence to dealing with women? How come when I put you in that room with them 10 women and the first 2 women you approached rejected you, you said, oh, fuck this, I'm out? Huh? How come you didn't say to yourself, well, yeah, those 2 women rejected me, but I'm confident that one of these other remaining 8 women is going to respond to me in a positive manner, a desirable manner, a reciprocal manner? How come you didn't have that confidence? But you got the confidence you're going to wake up tomorrow morning, and the next morning, and the next morning, and the next morning. You're just confident you're going to wake up. Who told you you're going to wake up? I'm saying, when you meet a woman, you ever watch my video podcast where I say, look at me? Look at me. You know I say that to women. Most of the time I talk to women. Particularly once I feel like I'm in a rhythm with them, I'll say, look at me. Now, I'm not going to obligate you to say to a woman, the next woman you approach, look at me. If you feel bold enough to say that, go ahead and say it. But I want you to look at a woman even without saying it, as if you're telling her to look at you. Even without actually saying it. Just give her a look as if you're saying to her, look at me. I want you to look at her dead in her eyeballs for at least 3 to 5 seconds. Count in your head 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Just look at her dead in her eyeballs with the most confident, direct eye contact you can give her. What can she do? You think she's going to slap you because you've given her confident, direct eye contact? You think she's going to curse you out? You think she's going to call the police on you? See, when you look at women with your eyes and your eyes suggest that you're nervous and or non-confident, guess what happens? That's when you become perceived as being creepy. That's what women perceive as creepy men. And this is based on many conversations I've had with women. Women don't like a man who has a demeanor in his eyes, something about his eyes says that he's nervous and or extremely non-confident. That's when you come across as creepy. I want you to look at this woman and be thinking in your head, I know I'm gonna fuck you. You don't. I want you to actually say that. Unless you feel really bold enough to actually say that at some point in the conversation. I'm not going to prevent you from saying that. But I'm not going to obligate you to actually say that. But I want you to look at a woman with a look that says, I want you to be thinking that in your head, saying that in your mind. I know I'm going to fuck you. Let me ask you this question. Let's say I knew this woman named Lydia. Her name is Lydia, right? And Lydia, 5 years ago, used to be a professional call girl. Right after being a professional call girl, she was a nude stripper for at least a year, if not a little longer. Right after being a nude stripper, she was a porno star for at least 2 years. Okay, you got that? She was a professional call girl, a nude stripper, and briefly a porno star. But then she met me. And I told her that she needed to transform her image and present herself as more of a, burp number 3, an innocent, wholesome, prudish, strictly monogamy-oriented good girl. I took her under my wings and I transformed her whole image. I made her dress more conservatively, speak in a different manner. Okay? I basically contributed to her reinventing herself. And now I introduce Lydia to you. I introduce it to you. Here's the challenge for you. How would you go about, okay, let's say I had a big mouth, okay? Let's say I had a big mouth. And I say, yo, man, come here. Can I tell you a little secret about Lydia? You promise not to tell her, right? And you say, yeah, I promise not to tell her, Alan. You know you my boy, man. I promise not to tell her. I say, promise. You like, man, I promise, man. I say, man, she used to be a nude stripper for about 1.5 years. And you say, really? I say, yeah. But she cleaned up her image and now she's a different woman. And I just leave it at that. Now, technically, you don't want to violate my confidence because you promised me that you know, I gave you some confidential intel on Lydia. But you know that's going to make you curious. It's going to make you intrigued. So now I'm asking you, how would you go about, wait, some stuff is popping up on my screen. Excuse me. Okay. How would you go about getting her to reveal that she used to be a nude stripper? How would you go about getting her to reveal that to you? Now again, she's dressed real conservatively. The way she carries herself is very prudish, or at least semi-prudish. How would you get her to reveal that she has a more sexually provocative side, more open-minded and free-spirited side? Particularly, let's say the challenge for you was to get her to reveal that, preferably in the first 5 minutes of the conversation and no later than within the first 10 minutes of the conversation. How would you go about doing that? What kind of questions would you ask her to find that out, to get her to reveal that? Without just saying, hey, my man Alan Roger Currie told me you used to be a nude stripper. No, because I would end my friendship with you immediately. So you couldn't say that's out of the question. That's not an option. So, but knowing that I shared with you as buddies that this woman used to be a nude stripper, how would you get her to admit that to you? And beyond that, to admit that she has just a more open-minded, free-spirited, erotically uninhibited side? I want you to marinate on that. Because I'm going to tell you how you won't get that done. If you start a conversation with Lydia and you start talking to her about general bullshit, the weather, what's going on in the political world, what's going on in the sports world, your favorite movies, her favorite movies, your favorite TV shows, her favorite TV shows, your favorite foods, her favorite foods, biographical information about your high school and college days, biographical information about her high school and college days, you're never going to really provoke her to reveal that type of information in that type of conversation. So I'm asking you, how can you step out of the box of the basic, conventional, and cautious manner of conversing with women and be a wee bit more provocative with your questions and comments? You know what it takes to do that? You know what it takes? Yeah, I think you know what I'm going to say. You know what it takes to do that? It takes balls, man. It takes balls. It takes balls because you got to go against the grain of society, man. Society wants you to be a beta male. Society wants you to be an easy to get along with, polite, cautious, flattering, and entertaining beta male. That's what most factions of society want you to do. Most parents of daughters want their daughters to hook up with a guy who is a polite, conventional, easy to get along with, flattering, and entertaining beta male. A guy who's a non-threat to get their daughter's pussy wet. So you know what it takes to break out that mold? It takes balls. It takes balls. I'm asking you, man to man, do you have the balls to be provocative, to challenge a woman's social programming, to challenge her sexual boundaries and sensibilities, to provoke her to discuss her kinkier side, her more freaky side, her more open-minded, free-spirited, and erotically uninhibited side? Do you have the balls to bring that side out of her, or at least get her to discuss it in conversation? It's not going to happen by osmosis. Now, what a lot of guys do, particularly a lot of beta male types, they turn to alcohol. They say, well, I'm going to try to get this woman drunk so that she'll reveal that side of her. I don't want her to be able to think for herself. I never go that route. I just use, instead of alcohol, I use big ass balls. I use big ass balls. Because see, here's the thing, man. Once you put sex on the table, once those words leave your mouth, you can't pull them back in. They're out there. Once you put the subject of sex on the table, it's there. It has to be dealt with. In worst case scenario, a woman might end the conversation with you once you lay sex on the table. If she does, so what? So what? That's gonna happen from time to time. You gotta be prepared for that. Don't let that catch you off guard. You gotta be prepared for that. So what? It happens. All that means is that's not the woman for you. You weren't meant to connect with that woman. That's what that means. That's no indictment on you. It just means you weren't meant to connect with that woman. But here's the thing you don't want to do. You don't want to put sex on the table. You don't want to introduce sex as a topic of conversation in any type of nervous and or non-confident manner. Why? Because you're going to be perceived as creepy. You don't ever want to be perceived as creepy. It's better not to talk about sex with women at all than to talk about sex with women in a nervous and or a non-confident manner. Let me repeat that. It is better to not talk about sex at all with women than to talk about sex with women in a non-confident and or nervous manner. Like, hey, excuse me, Brenda. I don't know how to say this. I'm sorry. Give me a few seconds. I'm trying to gain the courage to say this. Okay, Brenda, have you like ever watched like a porno movie? Don't get mad at me. I'm sorry. I hate to ask you that question. Dude, that was kind of an extreme exaggeration, but don't ever talk about sex with a woman in that manner. And if you do, don't tell anybody that you know me. Don't ever mention my name around any woman, because that would be an embarrassment. But in being realistic, there's some guys that's how they do. I've literally seen guys try to introduce sex into a conversation like I just imitated. He'll be totally awkward and nervous and non-confident. Hey, Tanya, how do I want to say this? I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. I don't want you to think I'm some kind of pervert or weirdo, but like I read this article on the internet and it was talking about women and oral sex. Can I ask your opinion on that article? See how I'm making my face almost like I'm protecting myself, preparing to get hit by that woman? Don't do that. Just don't talk about sex at all. Don't talk about sex at all. If you're going to talk about fucking with a woman, bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. That's what I call it. Bring the thunder, man. State your sexual comments with confidence, with conviction. Hey, Linda, I bet you watch porno movies all the time, don't you? And I bet you play with your pussy, don't you? Oh my God, I don't believe you said that. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that. Yeah, I said it. Look at dead in eye. Yeah, I said it. You know you watch a lot of porn. You know you do. See that confidence I got in my voice, in my eye contact? You know you got a box full of dildos and vibrators and sex toys. You know you do. I dare you to tell me you don't. Alan, you're so nasty. You're nasty. Bring the thunder, man. Bring the thunder, man. Especially if you're on the phone, man. It might be a little bit more intimidating in person. But if you're a novice, if you're new at this whole Mode 1 stuff, try it on the phone first. You can't get slapped on the phone. I don't think a woman would slap you anyway, but, you know, the worst thing that can happen, a woman can hang up the phone. Just bring it up. Just bring up sex. Don't, like a lot of guys say, Alan, what kind of opening should I look for to introduce the subject of sex? Sometimes a woman will give you an opening, but that's rare. I've had women every now and then give me an opening like, oh my God, I was over my girlfriend's house and we were watching this video of when we were at this bachelor party. See, that's called an opening. Once a woman mentions something like a bachelorette party, you got to jump on that and say something like, bachelorette party, huh? Looking at a video. Oh, I bet you were around guys with dicks all in your face. Boom! Bring the thunder, man. She gave you an opening, man. I had a client a few months ago. He was telling me about a phone conversation he had. And he gave me some details of this phone conversation. No, actually, I take that back. He didn't give me details. Well, first he gave me verbal details. He actually, I don't recommend this. You shouldn't necessarily record phone. I don't know the exact legalities with that, but I want to say there's legalities with secretly recording phone conversations. You can actually get, if the person you recording finds out, I want to say you can get sued in some cities, some counties, some countries, some states. So you got to watch yourself legally with recording phone conversations without asking the person you're talking to permission to do that. I don't think I've ever done that without letting a person know I was recording them. But anyway, this client did. He actually recorded a large part of his conversation with a woman. And man, this woman gave him like 3 or 4 openings, man. She gave him like 3 or 4 openings for him to talk about sex. And he missed them. He wasn't paying attention. I just gave you one example. Like a woman brings up that she was over her girlfriend's looking at videos of a bachelorette party. Or, God, Brian, I can't believe I finished the sequel to 50 Shades of Grey in 2 days. Opening. Jump on that. Pounce on that, man. Bring the thunder, man. Say, oh, you was reading 50 Shades of Grey on the sequel, huh? I bet you was playing with your pussy reading those erotica novels, weren't you? Oh, Leon, you're so bad. You're nasty. You're bad. You're so bad. Yeah, man, that's what you want to hear a woman say. You want to hear a woman call you nasty. Fuck nice and sweet. You don't want no woman to tell her girlfriends that you nice and sweet. That's basically like her telling her girlfriends that you are just a beta male, man. That you're easily to influence, you're easy to control, you're easy to manipulate. Fuck nice and sweet. Don't ever strive for nice and sweet. You want a woman to tell her girlfriends, yeah, I was talking to David Johnson. David, he's nasty. I didn't know he was that nasty. He looks so innocent, but he's nasty. He's real nasty. Be nasty. Be that nasty guy. Bring the thunder. Look for those openings, man. Listen for those openings. On the phone and in person, man. Listen for those openings. Woman mentioned she just got finished shopping at Victoria's Secret. Opening. That's an opening. But what I said a few minutes ago is, even if a woman doesn't provide a convenient opening for you, make your own opening. I do that all the time. I'll just bring up sex like out the fucking blue. Me and a woman could have just got finished talking about her favorite TV show, and I will just find a way to segue into fucking. She could be talking about her favorite foods, and I will find a way to segue into talking about fucking. That's what I do, man. That's what I do. Bring the thunder, man. Bring the thunder. Approach a woman. Demonstrate your confidence to her with your eye contact. Demonstrate your confidence. You confident that you're going to live the next few days, weeks, months, years, aren't you? Why? Why are you that confident? You confident you're going to keep your job for the next few days, few weeks, few months? Why are you that confident? Verb number 4. I'm asking you to transfer that confidence to dealing with women. Transfer that confidence and leave an indelible impression on a woman. Bring the thunder, man. Challenge that woman's social programming. Challenge her sexual boundaries and sensibilities. Get her to reveal the fact that she's more open-minded than she looks, more free-spirited than she looks, more erotically uninhibited than she looks. There's a lot of women in society who will dress conservatively and carry themselves as if they're a prude or semi-prude that are just kinky freaks, man. Trust me when I say that. Trust me when I say that. Draw a picture if you can. I know a lot of you aren't artists, but draw some pictures of a woman's eyes. Or find a big picture with a woman's face and practice just looking in this picture. If it's a picture of a woman, just practice looking in her eyes, man. Just practice looking in her eyes without you looking to the right side, the left side, at the ceiling, or at the floor. Just practice, man. Practice strengthening that confident eye contact. Practice regulating the volume of your voice, the overall quality and tone of your voice. You don't want to sound too perky with your voice. And again, you definitely don't want to sound nervous and or non-confident or real hesitant in your speech. Bring the thunder, man. Bring the thunder. The hashtag for this video podcast, part 2 of video podcast 30. You guessed it. Bring the thunder, man. Bring the thunder. If you don't have my books, again, I got the links to all my ebooks below, my paperbacks below, my audiobooks below, email consultations, Skype consultations, Skype and telephone consultations. And when you really want coaching from me, I do one-on-one, face-to-face coaching. Now, that's expensive, but it's worth it. All right, fellas. Much love and respect to you. Until next time. Mo one, baby. Go out and make some shit happen. Enhance your love life. Enhance your sex life. Enhance your social life. Don't be a basic, cautious, cowardly, conventional person. Don't be that guy. Don't be the nice, sweet guy. Be that nasty guy. That provocative guy. That extraordinarily confident guy. The guy with the big ass balls. Be that guy. I'll talk to you.
Yes, sir.
Say it again.
Yes, sir.
Who's the king?
Alan, you're the king.
Say it again.
Alan, you're the king. You're dominating me.
Say it again.
Alan, you're dominating me right now. Mode 1.
Mode 1.
Daddy, can I go, please? You're the king.
Say it again.
Oh, king. Oh, you're the fucking king. Yes. Yes. Yes.
You're the king, Alan.
AKA the king of verbal seduction. You know, it's the tone of your voice, how seductive your intonations are, the vibrations that you could just reach out over the phone lines and stroke a woman's breast just by the sound of your voice, how you could make her pussy so wet just by the sound of your voice. That's actually very hot.
So you said my show was what?
I said your show is powerful.
Oh, say it again.
Your show is powerful.
I bet the king would fuck me really good.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie. The king.
The king.
The king.